Hi and welcome to episode 5 of my knitting podcast. Hi and welcome back to my channel Mathilde Knits. My name is Mathilde. I am a French beginner knitter living in Paris, France. And this is a channel where I talk about my knitting. I upload monthly podcasts where I talk about any finished object, my current whips, and any acquisitions that I have to show. And then I try to post pattern roundup, knitting vlogs and stuff like that. So if you like this type of content, please subscribe and click on the notification bell to not miss any of my videos. I would really appreciate it. And if you're not new here, welcome back. Today is the first knitting podcast of 2024, which is kind of wild, but also is, I feel like it's been ages since I filmed a knitting podcast, so I kind of feel like I've got lots to show you, but at the same time I kind of feel like I've not done much knitting, which is kind of wild. So we'll see. I do have quite a few acquisitions. Clues. I got 2 finished objects, 3 whips to show, like soon to be cast on projects, and acquisitions. I've got yarns and some knitting notions or accessories. So let's start with what I'm wearing, and this is my first finished object of the podcast, and this is the Fennel seed jacket by Florence Miller, or Handmade by Florence here on YouTube. This was a test knit which finished last week, and I finished in time, which I was kind of happy about because I'm a slow knitter, but I managed to finish it, although it is knit on 5mm needles, so it's a fairly quick knit. So the Fennel seed jacket, maybe I can stand up a little bit to show you. There we go. This is a top-down raglan round yoke cardigan which has a boxy fit, and it is knit in broken rib stitch, as you can probably tell. And it's got a double knitted button band, which took a while, and a double knitted collar as well. I'll talk a bit more about the pattern first, and then I'll talk about the yarn that I used. So yeah, we had about 7 weeks to knit this, but by the time I received the yarn, because I don't have any sweater quantities in my stash, so I had to purchase it and then start the test knit a bit late. So I received it about a week and a half maybe after the test knit started. I originally ordered the yarn on the brand's website, and then I got an email back the next day saying, sorry, we don't have that colour anymore, would you like to wait? And I was like, no, I would not like to wait. So I cancelled my order, and then I ordered on the usual website I order from, which did have the yarn, thankfully, that I wanted. And yeah, I started a bit late, but because there was the Christmas break, I had a bit more time knitting than usual, so it meant that I knit this. I finished it a couple of days before the deadline, but then I had to wait for it to dry when I blocked it, and I added the buttons yesterday. So it was a really easy pattern to follow, and this was a test knit, so there were not a lot of mistakes in it, which is good. I'm not sure when the pattern will be released, but I'm sure it's not gonna be too long now, because the test knit ended. By the time I film this, it's a week ago, but by the time I upload it, it'll be about 2 weeks ago. So maybe it's out by the time I post this, and if it is, maybe I'll put it on the screen somewhere so that you can go and check it out. But yeah, it was a really nice knit. thing is, I think I didn't know before because this is my first round neck. It's not a round yoke. It's not a round yoke, but I don't think I like that type of cardigan on me, which is fine. I'm still gonna wear it, especially kind of effed up the color, I think. As you can see, it doesn't really line up, and that's okay. Yeah, so that's just a me thing. It's not about the pattern itself. I think it's really well constructed. I like the raglan shape on me. I knitted it a bit longer than what I usually would for a sweater, because this is more of a jacket, so I wanted it to be a bit longer than usual, but I think I could have done a few more inches or centimeters. I think the pattern doesn't talk about rows, it just talks about centimeters, or not even centimeters. I think she says like knit until the length you desire and then knit X centimeters or inches of ribbing. So yeah, and then the sleeves that I did knit very, very long. As you can see, they come up around here, but this is how I usually like my sleeves to be, because I'm very sensitive to the cold. I can be very, very cold, and so I like to be snugly in my knits. But yeah, this is quite warm, and I was really worried about the yarn being itchy, but I haven't tried it next to skin, but I think next to skin it would be a little bit itchy, but that's normal. But if I've got a long sleeve turtleneck underneath it, and I can't feel the itchiness at all, so I'm very, very happy with that. So now I'll talk a bit more about the yarn. I've got a lot of yarn left, so I can show you exactly what I used. And that is Isager Aran Tweed in the colorway Sand, and Alpaca 1 in the colorway E0, I think. So this is what I used, and as you can see, this Aran Tweed is a very rustic yarn. I mean, maybe you can't see it across the screen, but it is very rough, like it doesn't have a lot of drape. So when I ordered this because I really wanted a tweedy yarn, a beige tweedy cardigan, which is what I got, but I got really scared about the rusticness. I don't think you can say that, but you know what I mean. The rustic feeling of that yarn. I was worried it would be too rough. I was worried it wouldn't drape a lot, but as I said, I think I really, really like it. And then the Alpaca 1 is really, really soft, and this goes a long way. This is a great alternative to Mohair, I think, because first of all, I personally find it very soft. This is 100% alpaca. Oh, the Aran Tweed is 100% wool. They didn't really say where exactly, but then it said made in Ireland, so maybe it's an Irish wool, I don't know. But yeah, the Alpaca one is very, like, it goes a long way. It's 400 meters per 50 gram skeins. So I think for the whole sweater I only used 2, and like I've got this much left of the third ball, so maybe, I think I counted, I used like 840 meters, around something like that. So I only used 40 meters of that one, and I've got all of that left. Or actually, I think that's one is for something else, but no, this is it. And for the Aran Tweed, I ordered 10 skeins, or 10 of these, because the pattern recommends using heavy merino by Knitting for Olive, held with soft silk mohair, but I wanted to try, as I said, I wanted a tweedy yarn, and so I wanted to try this, but I usually order the recommended yarn or something very, very similar. So for example, if it says Merino by Knitting for Olive, I can substitute this for Sandnes Garn Sunday, because I know it's fairly similar, and I I would order the same amount that the pattern recommended for the other one, etc. But this is a bit more different from heavy merino, so I was kind of worried about running out, especially for test knits. So I ordered 10 skeins, and I've got 3 left and this one left, so I used 6 and a bit of this, but like really not a whole lot. I think I ran out about here on the sleeve. And this has 80 meters or 87 yards per 50 grams. So I think I used about, yeah, I think I wrote it down, but anyway. So in total, this sweater cardigan, I'm not going to count the yarn that I didn't use, by the way, but the yarn that I did use, it cost me around 80 euros total, if I counted that right. If I did not count that right, I'll put it on the screen. Which I think is not too bad, considering the Aran Tweed is quite expensive, but I think maybe because I used the Alpaca one and that this goes a very, very long way, it ended up not costing that much. So I'm happy with that. And so I've got about 70% of skeins of the Aran Tweed left, so I'm thinking either I'll make a sand pillow by Knitwear, or I don't know yet. I'll keep it in my stash for now, but if I don't end up making the sand pillow, maybe I'll sell it. We'll see. So yeah. I love the fit of the sleeves. I think they fit me really, really well. I think the body is a tiny bit tight, but that's just because of my gauge. When I did the gauge swatch, my gauge was fine, but I think when I actually started knitting, my gauge is a bit tighter than on the gauge swatch, and so I think if I block it again, I can stretch it a tiny bit more and it will be better. But yeah, if I close the buttons, I think it looks a bit tight on me because I've got big boobs. And for the buttons, I just purchased these ones, which I think look really good with this, and they were just from a regular French mercerie. I don't know how to say that in English. Like a store where you can buy fabric and a little bit of wool, of yarn, and like some buttons and stuff like that. So yeah, and this was my first time doing a button band with buttonholes and adding buttons. So I used Petite knits, or like Kimi McComb, the one who makes all of Petite knits tutorial videos. I used her tutorials to do the double knitted buttonholes, and then I used her tutorials to add the buttons, and they were really easy to follow, and it was really great because for the buttonholes you don't have to break the yarn. In the pattern she explained how to do the buttonholes with breaking the yarn, but I wanted to avoid having too many ends to weave in, so I used Petite knits method, and that was great. So yeah, I really recommend. And I'll talk about my second finished object, which I don't actually have with me, but I've got something else. Well, this half finished object and half whip. So this is a fingerless glove. This one is not blocked yet, so it looks a bit funky. I did show the finished object, so let's start again. This is my current whip, but I've made another pair in the exact same yarn combination for a Christmas gift. I've shown that in my Everything I Knit in 2023 video, which I'll try to link up here if I can remember. So I don't have it with me to show you, but since I've got my current whip, I'm showing you this one, which has not been blocked yet. So this is the Claudia Gloves pattern by OrsaMakes here on YouTube, and it's a fairly simple fingerless glove with twisted rib details, or I think it's half twisted rib. At least that's what I did. I knit one through the back loop, but purled one the normal way. So I think that's half twisted rib. I can show you this one on. I did a small pattern modification for this one. This is gonna look a bit weird. Yeah, ignore the ends here. So ignore this. This is just because I've not blocked it yet, so I'm not cutting it too close for now. This is what it looks like. So as you can see, the yarn is kind of stretched out a bit already. I think my gauge was a bit off for the first pair that I knitted, so the thumb was really tight on myself, and so I originally wanted to knit for my friends. I wanted to knit her a pair of socks for Christmas, but I ended up messing something up, and I did not have the energy to go fix it and then finish the first sock and then do the second sock before Christmas. I don't think I would have had time to finish it anyway, so I wanted to do something else for her, so I knitted this pair of gloves. And so I didn't want to go up a needle size for mine because the fabric is already a bit too stretched out and I didn't want it to be too holey. So what I did for this one, I just cast on with 2 more stitches than what the pattern says. Then I followed the instructions up until the point where you split for the thumb. And I put these 2 additional stitches along the other stitches that you put on hold for the thumb. That makes sense. So for example, if you put 16 stitches aside for the thumb, I did 18 stitches aside for the thumb. That's not the amount of stitches, but... And that fits a bit better for me. But I think my gauge is still a bit off, but I think it will be fine. The yarn that I'm using for this is a hand-dyed yarn, superwash 85% superwash wool with 15% nylon. This is by Le Bruit des Aiguilles, which is a French hand dyer, and this colorway is called Autumn is Falling, which is really beautiful white with brown and red speckles. I've casted on the second one, by the way, but I'm only on a little bit of the ribbing, and I'm holding it with the Isager alpaca one, which is 100% alpaca in the same colorway. So this is when I purchased the skeins, I purchased 5 for the Fennel seed jacket, but I knew that I didn't need 5, and I bought 1 extra to do these, but actually I've got like loads of this left. So yeah, these are my gloves, which I can't wait to finish. I'm hoping to finish them by next week so that I can wear them to the French Alps where I'm going next weekend, but we shall see, because I do want to finish another thing. Yeah, I didn't mention, but for the alpaca one that I've got left, I want to use it for a no frills cardigan by Petite that I'll cast on somewhere around February or March. So I think I might have enough of that. I might buy 1 more skein. I've got to do some calculations, but I think I have enough with what I've got, and I'll buy tin pegant to hold with it. I think the total cost of these gloves will be about 24 euros total, because as I said, this is the first skein of Alpaca, and I used that one to do the first pair, and I used, I think, like maybe 20 grams for the first pair, so I'm gonna use 20 grams for the second pair, and so I'll have 10 grams left. That seems wrong. Maybe I used 12 grams for the whole, for the first pair. I don't know, I don't remember. But yeah, I've got plenty left for the second one of these, and then I'll have like at least, I think maybe 20 grams left of that. So yeah, maybe around 24 euros total for the pair, because the hand-dyed yarn is a bit more expensive. So that's it for the finished, half-finished objects, and let's dive into the whips. The first whip that I'm going to show you is in this bag. This is a small project bag which is filled to the brim, that I custom ordered from Mercury Studio, which is a sewing shop, a French maker that I will link below. I purchased this. This is not an ad, but I like what she does. So this is my Monday sweater. Which way around is it? I think it's this way around. This is a pattern by Petite Knit, the Monday sweater. Sorry, this is a bit ruffled because, as you can tell, it was in a very small bag. I've shown you this before, but I've made, as you can see, a lot of progress on it. The Fennel stitch jacket was my main focus of December, and then by the time I was quite far along on it and I knew that I could finish it by the deadline, I wanted to pick this back up again, because I started this, I want to say end of October maybe. Yeah, so this is a top-down raglan sweater. What the fuck? I think I just saw someone dropped like a Christmas tree from their window. Like a massive plant. Just what? I don't know what happened. Anyways, sorry, got really distracted there. This is a top-down raglan with a 3-stitch raglan detail. It's a fairly simple pattern design, but it's really lovely. It's got a folded collar, and then you've got 9 centimeters of ribbing for the body and 12 centimeters of ribbing, sorry, for the sleeves. I'm almost done with the first sleeve. As you can see, I've started the ribbing. Ignore the very long cable that I'm using. I couldn't find a smaller cable to do magic loop in, because otherwise it was too small, but anyways. And this is designed to have about 15 to 20 centimeters of positive ease. I did not reach gauge with the recommended needle size, so I'm using 4.5 millimeter for the stockinette, whereas the pattern recommends using 4 millimeter needles, and then for the ribbing I'm using a 4 millimeter needles instead of the 3.5, I'm guessing. So yeah, I am using Knitting for Olive Merino, which is 100%, I've got it actually. Which is 100% extra fine merino in the colorway Deep Petroleum Blue, and I'm holding it with the soft silk mohair of the same colorway, and this is 70% mohair and 30% silk. I'm holding these two together, which I think is a very lovely muted deep blue. I love the feeling of these together. They are, it is so soft. It feels really, really nice. I think it might be a little bit itchy. This is my first Mohair and Merino garment that I've knitted myself. So I'm not sure how I'll react to the Mohair, but I think it will be fine. I mean, if I'm not sensitive to this, which is very rustic, I mean, that's not the same thing, but I'm hoping that because I'm not sensitive to this, this will be fine. It may be a bit itchy at first, but then hopefully it will be okay, because I think I'm going to wear this a ton. I'll insert a b-roll of me wearing it, because if I put it on now with the mic, it's going to be a bit annoying. So, but yeah, I'm making really good progress on this. My hope is to finish it by next week. As I said, I'm going to the French Alps next weekend. I'm leaving on Friday very, very early, and I would really love to be able to wear it there. I think I might not be able to finish it by Thursday night, but I should finish it Friday. I mean, I've got around 5 hours of train ride, so I'll definitely be able to finish it on Friday. So I'll wear it unblocked, and I'll block it when I get home. But I'm very, very happy with that. Oh, and I'm knitting a size S. I didn't mention, but for the Fennel jacket, this was knit size C in the pattern. But I'll put my bust measurement below so that you can guess the size I'm making if you're interested in the pattern, because I link everything below anyways. The next whip that I've got, which is the last one actually, is in this project bag. Again, this is by Mercury Studio, which I will link below, and it is the sweater number 18 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. I am so excited to have cast this on. I've got two to show you, which I'll explain in a moment. So basically, I got the yarn at the beginning of the month. So this is using Knitting for Olive, trying to find the mohair, there we go. This is Knitting for Olive Heavy Merino in cream, and soft silk mohair in cream as well. So the soft silk mohair is the same thing, it's 70% mohair, 30% silk, and the heavy merino is 100% merino wool. I really love the feeling of this together as well. Again, I've not worn a mohair jumper yet, so hopefully I'm not sensitive to that. We shall see. But I'm very, 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 very excited for this sweater. So this is a very popular pattern, but in case you don't know, it is an oversized top-down, drop shoulder, very textured design, which should have about 25 to 30 centimeters of positive ease, or 9.75 to 11.75 inches, I think. And yeah, I think this is just going to be a staple in my wardrobe, which I'm very excited about. I kind of wanted the colorway to be a bit more beige, but then I thought about it, and I already have this, which is a bit more beige and tweedy, so I'm happy that this is a bit more white. But yeah, anyways, so I was very excited when I received the yarn, and I swatched, which I think my swatch is around here somewhere. Yep, here it is. But I looked at my swatch before blocking, and I was like, oh, I think this will block out fine to the correct measurements. And I just cast it on. And I was a bit lazy, and I forgot to block it. And by the time I blocked it and actually measured it, I was already up to this point, I think. Is this the right one? Nope. Up to this point. So that's the back panel. Oh well, I wasn't exactly to this point, but I was around here maybe somewhere. And I checked and my gauge was not right. So then I thought, because when you start to knit, the first like 30 rows is the same for all sizes, and then depending on your size you knit more rows of the first chart and then go to the chart B. But so I decided to, instead of knitting size S, I decided to try knitting size M, so that way I could just continue. I didn't have to frog all the way back. But I'm not very good yet at doing this kind of modifications and making sure that it's gonna fit me. So I was too worried that this would still be, well, I was worried that it would be too small, but I was worried that it wouldn't give me the exact same fit that the pattern is actually for. Is that what I want to say? You know what I mean? Anyway, so I decided to knit it again in a size, needle size bigger. So instead of using 5mm needles, I'm using 5.5mm needles, and this is where I got. So I'm almost at the same point that I was at for the other one that I did, and I'm very, very happy with how it's looking so far. I really love the feeling of this yarn, and I really love the design. One thing that I would say is that when I opened the second skein of the heavy merino, I started to knit, and like at the very beginning, as you can see, I've got a knot. I was too lazy to either cut the yarn and start from that point, because so basically, I don't know, I'll show you with this. The knot was around here. So I didn't want to lose all of that yarn, but I didn't want to have to undo the knot and then do it again. So hopefully it will be fine and it will hold. I'm thinking that this is just going to be where I pick up for the color anyway. So hopefully it will be hidden beneath that. But yeah, so I guess this is also acquisitions. So I'll just tell you, I've got the correct amount of heavy merino for size S. So I think this is around 8 skeins of that. And let me check actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think 6 skeins of heavy merino and 5 skeins of the mohair, maybe, or 4. I'll put it on the screen, but anyway, and when I finish the sweater, I'll tell you the amount of yarn that I used and the cost, total cost for the sweater. So yeah, whenever I finish my Monday sweater, this will become my main focus, because right now I'm trying to focus more on the Monday sweater so that I can finish it and wear it, because it's been on my needles for too long and I want to wear it. So this is my last whip. So as you can see, I've not knit that much in a way, but that's just how it goes. I'm not a very fast knitter, and so that's what I've got to show you. I'll talk to you about acquisitions and like my future cast-ons. So the first one is this bag, which is new. This is one of the Petite Knits project bag. This is the smallest size. I think this colorway, or like this fabric, is called Midnight Blue or Midnight Flower or something like that. I bought the pouch that goes with it. I wanted more project bags. Do I need them? Kind of not. But also I really like to have one project bag and get the whole amount of yarn in the bag with the project itself. So yeah, that's how I'm dealing with that. And I've got acquisitions inside as well. So this is the Rerum Natura Penelope in the colorway Bruit for the blue and Orgea for the white. This yarn is 90% wool and 10% silk, and it is a DK weight, sorry. So it's recommended for 3.5 to 4mm needles, and it's so for a 10 by 10 centimeter square, you're supposed to have 22 to 21 stitches per 32 to 30 rows. And I love these two colors together. I'm really pleased with that. I really wanted to try the Rerum Natura because it is a French brand and using a French yarn. Oh well, the Merinos is from Arles, which is a city in the south of France, but they use mulberry silk, which comes from China. But it's mainly from France. So I'm really excited about that. And my plan for this is the Alder sweater by the Crea Bea or Rebecca Clow. I've mentioned this plan already in my, I want to say it's my winter plans video, and also my Make 9 videos, which I'll try and link up here, but otherwise you can just go on my channel and find them again if you're interested. So I've got the beginning of a swatch for that, and I think it's just going to look so gorgeous. Don't know why I said that like that. I think it's going to look gorgeous. So I'll first talk about my swatch and then I'll talk a bit more about the pattern itself. But the pattern recommends using a 3.75mm needles, and I did not have that. I've got every other size of needles, I think, except maybe the very small ones, but otherwise I've got even up to a 10mm needle. I'm sorry, I don't know the US sizes. I'll try to remember to put it on the screen if I can, but if not, I'm sorry. Yeah, so I don't have that. I did not have that needle size, so I bought it, but it took like a week to come. And so I started to swatch in a 4mm size because I really wanted to try to see the pattern, like the design, how it came up, or how to make it, because this is my first time doing mosaic knitting, which is when you use two colors but you don't use them at the same time. You knit like one row in one color and the second row in another color, which is this, but this is a 4-row repeat. I did not measure, I just wanted to practice before I had the right needle size, and then I frogged it and did this in the correct size, so 3.75mm needles, but I think this is going to be too small because I've got a really tight gauge. So I've got to frog, oh, I think I'm going to bind off here, make the swatch in a 4mm size needle, and then, but knit the whole swatch, and then block them at the same time, and then I will see. Hopefully the 4mm size up, or like going up just 0.25mm will be enough for me to hit gauge, because I don't have a 4.25, I don't think that exists, millimeter size, so otherwise it's just going to be a 4.5mm needles, but I think that's going to be too much, so then maybe I've got to do the size medium. I think I'm supposed to do size S, so I think I will have to do size medium with 4mm needles, but I don't know. This is all a bit confusing to me still. So we'll see what I end up doing, but this is why I don't have a lot of progress yet, or why I've not actually cast on the sweater, because I want to make sure that I hit gauge. Because otherwise, it just means that I'm gonna have to frog back and lose time, and I don't want to lose more time. Yeah, I'll talk briefly about the sweater itself. It is a top-down all-over stitch, 2-color stitch pattern, which is supposed to have 2 to 10 centimeters of positives or 1 to 4 inches of positives. So it's fairly close to the body fitting, if you know what I mean. Sweater, and I'm very excited to make it in these colors. I didn't mention, but this blue is going to be my main color and the white is going to be my secondary color. So yeah, I'm very excited to cast this on as soon as I've finished my Monday sweater, or whenever I get back from the French Alps is when I'm gonna cast it on, hopefully, or at least continue my swatches and stuff. So my next acquisition is not very exciting, but not as exciting as yarn, but I thought I would share anyway. I had a gift card from work, which is kind of amazing. It is like you can use it, you can choose which store you want to use it at, but it's not like every store, you still got a list, and so there was no store like for yarn or stuff like that. So I got it for Amazon and I purchased, but then it was free because it was a gift card, the Knit Pro Mindful Collection short needle tip thingy. I think the word I'm looking for is interchangeable needle set. That's better. So basically you have got these very short needle tips with sizes from 3mm to 10mm. As you can see, I'm using a fair bit already. And you've also got a little pouch with some cables, short cables. So like, I think it's like from 32 centimeters to maybe 50 centimeter cables. You've got 3, I think. You've got a like that. Oh, actually that's useful because it's got the US sizes on here. So maybe I can learn now. And then you've got needle stoppers and stitch markers even in that, so that's useful. I'm not in love with this drawing and the colorways, but that's fine, it's just a needle case and I find it very useful. I've already got the Knit Pro Mindful Collection or like, I don't have this set, but I've got some needles in that collection of interchangeable needles, so that means that I can use these short tips with bigger cables and vice versa, and so it's very, very lovely. I didn't think I was a metal needle kind of gal, but I am. I really love that. I've got the C-knit needles as well, some of them, and they're just not as good because the feeling of the bamboo needles is very nice, but the cables are just, they kind of twist and yeah, they lose their shape. No, I'm not in love with that anymore. So that's very useful. I'm very happy that I got that. And then the last one is, this is not a project bag, this is just my advent calendar that I got from work, but I'm using the vanity for yarn, as one does. And this is my last acquisition, which I got a lot this month. I was very excited to buy yarn. So I've got the Rerum Natura Ulysse in the colorway Amarante. This is 100% wool and it is their spot weight yarn. I've got 5 or 6, maybe more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I think 7 skeins of this, which is a really gorgeous color. I hope the camera picks it up alright, because I know that when I tried to take pictures it was a bit more red ish or like orange, but it's a kind of a Bordeaux colorway. And I want to use that with the Soft Silk Mohair by Knitting for Olive in the colorway Bordeaux. Again, this is 70% mohair and 30% silk. And I think it's going to look gorgeous. I originally wanted to cast on the Rafaela sweater by Gregoria Fibers. It is a turtleneck top-down raglan sweater with 2x2 ribbing detail. I do still want to make that sweater, but I just realistically don't think I'm going to be able to finish it before winter, and so I don't really want to knit on something and finish it and not be able to wear it for a few months. So I think I'm going to hold off on that until the fall. I think this is going to be a gorgeous colorway for fall anyway. Maybe I'll be inspired to knit something else with this color skein, with this yarn before fall, but my plan right now is still to knit the Rafaela sweater, but later this year. I'm happy actually to have some sweater quantities of yarn in my stash, because that's the first one that I've got that doesn't have, well, it does have a plan, but later in the year, so I can change my mind and maybe use it for something else. We shall see, but I'm very excited to use this yarn. It's not as soft, for example, as the Superwash Merino, obviously, but this is softer than what I thought it would be. So I'm very, very happy with this. And I really want to use more of their Naturals yarn, because so far I've not even used it and I've not worn it, so we shall see. But I think I will really enjoy it. And I'm happy to buy French yarns. Yeah, I think this is it. I feel like I've rambled a lot and hopefully I've not bore you too much, and that was fun to watch. Oh, actually, one of my future cast-ons again, I thought I would mention. So this is already kind of the end of winter here. Or, well, not the end of winter, but right now the weather is picking up again, or like picking back up. Is that how we say it? It's getting a bit warmer, is what I want to say. And so, but I got a lot of winter projects that I want to make still. So I want to cast on a beanie, because I don't have a beanie for myself. I've mentioned this pattern in my winter plans video, so I won't talk too much about it in itself, but I want to cast on a beanie with this cashmere classic by Cardiff, I think, which is 100% cashmere. This is in the colorway 511, or brown natural, I think, something like that it's called. I've got 3 skeins of this, and yeah, I really want to make this. This yarn was a gift from my aunt for my birthday, and I really want to make it this year. I might not wear the beanie a lot, because again, it's going to be the end of winter soon, but I think this is going to be a fairly quick knit, and it means it will be ready for fall winter at the end of the year. And I'm going to use the cashmere beanie pattern by Gregoria Fiber, which is an over twisted rib beanie. Again, I think it's actually half twisted rib, because the pattern states to do knit through the back loop and purl 1, but hopefully, I'm not sure what twisted rib is. I think it's when you knit through the back loop and purl through the back loop. So I'm not sure why she says it's a twisted rib beanie when she doesn't say it. I don't know. But that's what I want to make. So yeah, that's the last of my plans for now. As I said, I am going to go to the French Alps next weekend for about 5 days, which I'm very excited about. This is one of my favorite places in France, the first one being Brittany, which is where I go from time to time. But yeah, this is where we want to move with my boyfriend. We're going there to see his family, and I really want to enjoy, you know, going on walks, a little bit of hiking if we can, not too difficult hiking, because I don't want to be too tired, because it's not going to be very long holidays. But yeah, and I want to knit a lot and wear my knits in the cold. So I think I might actually try to vlog that. If that's something you think you would like to see, feel free to subscribe. I might vlog like what I knit in a week, but start as I'm going to the French Alps. That way I can show you a little bit of France, and then I might try to like fix a few of my knits in that vlog as well, so that you can see that, and that is going to hopefully make me more motivated to fix my knits. Yeah, I think that's it for today. I think that's it. My boyfriend is coming back from his run, so I'll wrap this up here. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.